The containment field hummed softly as Jinx pressed her palm against the scanner. She caught Titus's eye across the pristine white chamber and offered a tired smile. 3 months aboard the Cathara, a Vryn research vessel, and they still weren't used to being specimens. "Fascinating," chirped Velmoth, the lead xenobiologist, his crystalline carapace refracting the overhead lights into 1,000 rainbow fragments. His species lived for millennia, and it showed in the patient, almost glacial way he moved. "The scan is complete. Your genetic structures are now fully mapped." Titus stretched his shoulders, feeling the weight of exhaustion from 12 hours of testing. "So, Doc, are we done here? Can we finally get some real food instead of that nutrient paste?" Velmoth's translation device buzzed. "Shortly. The computational analysis must verify the data first, a mere formality." The console behind him erupted in a cascade of warning lights. "Error!" The computer's voice resonated through the chamber, flat and emotionless. "Critical data corruption detected. DNA analysis invalid." Velmoth's compound eyes widened, multiple lenses adjusting in confusion. "Impossible. The scanners are functioning perfectly." His 6-fingered hands danced across the holographic interface. "Run Diagnostic Protocol 7. Diagnostic complete. Scanner functionality, optimal, DNA data, corrupted or false." Jinx exchanged a glance with Titus. "What's wrong?" "The computer refuses to accept your genetic data," Velmoth said, his voice taking on a puzzled tone that the translator struggled to convey. "It believes the lifespan markers are in error." "Our lifespan?" Titus asked. "What about it?" Velmoth manipulated the display, and a holographic double helix appeared between them, pulsing with amber light. Beside it, streams of data cascaded downward in languages neither human could read. "According to your telomere length, cellular degradation rates, and genetic markers, your species lives approximately..." He paused, recalculating. 70 to 100 of your solar cycles?" "Yeah, that's about right," Jinx confirmed. "Maybe a bit more with modern medicine." "Why?" The computer interrupted. "Impossibility index 99.7%. Species with maximum lifespan of 100 cycles cannot achieve apex classification, reclassifying humans as Tier 7 primitive species." "Wait, what?" Titus stepped forward, his jaw tightening. "Tier 7. We have faster-than-light travel." "Anomaly detected. FTL capability inconsistent with lifespan data. Conclusion: technology inherited or stolen." Velmoth waved his appendages in what both humans had learned was profound distress. "This is unprecedented. The Galactic Archive has classified your species as apex level, one of only 14 in the known galaxy. Yet the computer insists that we're too short-lived to matter," Jinx finished, her voice hard. The xenobiologist pulled up another display. "You must understand, every apex species in the archive lives for thousands of cycles minimum. The Vryn, such as myself, average 12,000 cycles. The Eternal Chorus exists for 50,000. Even the youngest apex race, the Krillian Collective, lives for 3,000 cycles. And we get maybe 80, Titus said quietly. "That's what? 1% of your lifespan?" 0.67%, the computer corrected helpfully. Velmoth's translator crackled with what might have been a sigh. "The computational logic is sound in a way. How does a species that barely sees a single century achieve what takes others millennia to learn? The Vryn needed 8,000 cycles to develop FTL theory. The mathematics alone." "We didn't have 8,000 years," Jinx said, her voice carrying an edge that made Velmoth's sensory antennae twitch. "We had decades, maybe a generation or two if we were lucky." "Insufficient time for innovation at detected cognitive processing speeds," the computer stated. Titus laughed, a sharp, bitter sound. "That's exactly why we did it. We don't have the luxury of taking our time. He moved to the viewport, where the vast spiral of the Andromeda Galaxy stretched across the darkness. You know what my great-grandfather told me before he died? He said he was born before we had spaceflight. He watched us go from throwing rocks to splitting atoms to touching the stars, all in his lifetime. One lifetime. Velmoth's translator fell silent as the xenobiologist processed this. Every human knows they're dying, Jinx added, joining Titus at the viewport. From the moment we're old enough to understand, we know the clock is ticking. 70 years, 80 if we're lucky, 100 if we're blessed. Acknowledged. However, this should result in primitive development, not apex classification. Should it? Jinx turned back to face the computer's optical sensors. You think long life makes you ambitious? Try having a short one. Try knowing that you'll never see the finished product, that everything you build will be for someone else, someone not yet born. Titus picked up the thread. My daughter is 6 years old. I'll be lucky to see her grandchildren. I'll never meet my great-grandchildren. Every project we start, every problem we solve, it's not for us. It's for them. The Vryn perfect their crafts over centuries, Velmoth said slowly, understanding beginning to dawn in his ancient eyes. A single artisan might work on the same piece for 300 cycles. We don't have 300 years, Jinx interrupted. We barely have 30 productive ones. So we write everything down, we teach everyone, we share knowledge like our lives depend on it, because they do. Paradox detected, the computer stated. Short lifespan should limit ambition, not amplify it. You're not listening, Titus said. Short lives don't limit our ambition. They focus it. Every human who ever lived knew they were in a race against time. We don't have the luxury of procrastination. Velmoth's carapace shifted through several colors, ultraviolet confusion, infrared contemplation. The Vryn have a saying, time smooths all edges. We believe patience is the greatest virtue. Humans have a different saying, Jinx replied. Time waits for no one. We learned early that if we waited for the perfect moment, we'd die waiting. The computer processed for several long seconds. Re-evaluating parameters, analyzing cultural biological interaction matrix. Velmoth pulled up historical data, his movements now quicker, more agitated. Your technological progression, it's exponential. The Vryn took 12,000 cycles to go from basic metallurgy to spaceflight. You did it in 12,000 of your cycles? Less, Titus confirmed. More like 10,000 years, and most of that was figuring out agriculture. Impossible. The learning curve alone is steep when you don't have forever to climb it, Jinx finished. Every generation stands on the shoulders of the last because we have to. We can't afford to forget. We can't afford to waste time. Analysis complete, the computer announced. Paradox resolved. Short lifespan creates evolutionary pressure for accelerated knowledge transfer and innovation. Humans achieve in one lifetime what longer-lived species achieve in 50. Because we have to, both humans said simultaneously. Velmoth was silent for a long moment, his ancient mind grappling with a truth that seemed obvious once spoken, but revolutionary in its implications. The archive classifies apex species by capability, not by lifespan, but we always assumed the two were related. That longevity was necessary for greatness. Maybe it is, Titus said quietly. Just not individual longevity. We live on through our children, our students, our works. The human race is immortal, even if individual humans aren't. Reclassification rejected, the computer stated. Humans remain apex-level species. Updating Galactic Archive. Apex status can be achieved through compressed generational innovation rather than extended individual development. Warning: human adaptability. Index suggests extreme danger in long-term conflicts. Velmoth's translator emitted something that might have been nervous laughter. The computer is right to warn. If you achieve this much in a century, imagine what we'll do with 1,000 years, Jinx said, her smile sharp and bright. If we ever figure out how to live that long. The thought hung in the air, crystalline and terrible and beautiful, all at once. Titus met Velmoth's ancient gaze and saw something there that might have been fear, might have been respect. Perhaps, the xenobiologist said carefully, some species are apex not despite their limitations, but because of them. Outside the viewport, the stars wheeled in their eternal dance, patient and immortal. Inside the chamber, two humans smiled, knowing they had less than a century to leave their mark upon infinity. And somehow, that was enough.